Yo, so what's good, fam? It's your man Jay. I'm back with another episode of Evolutionary Comics, and today what we're doing is we're taking a moment out to getting to know Jay. That's me. So we're gonna get to know me and how I've come to have this YouTube channel all about comic books. Why this old guy, old as he is, grown ass man, still collecting comic books. So hang with me for a minute and let's get it. Alright, so what I did was I asked a few of my friends and my coworkers to give me a couple of questions as far as what they want to know as far as my obsession with comic books. I've been collecting comic books since I was 8 years old. I lost my collection early when I went off to the military. My little stash got, I don't know what happened to it. I wasn't able to find it when I came back home. And I kind of took a layoff. I didn't buy comic books. I was into other things in life. Just growing, living. And about 7 or 8 years ago, right before the announcement of the Black Panther movie, I decided I was going to collect every Black Panther title that exists. And I was going to see it, I challenged myself to see if I can do it. So at the time, I was a single father. Me and my little girl, we got in the car, my daughter, and we just started riding around and going to different comic book shops and seeing what kind of comic books, I could acquire that had Black Panther on them. So, once I accomplished that goal and I got every volume, every issue of Black Panther, I didn't get all the variants at first. I didn't get all of his appearances, but every comic book that was titled Black Panther, I got it. So it took a little while. I went from New Orleans to Philly to, down south, South Florida, everywhere trying to collect, and I finally accomplished that goal. Once I did, then I was like, damn, what do I do now? So I had a affection for Peter Parker's Spider-Man, so I started collecting those, and then from there it just exploded, and I was just collecting a little bit of everything. My main focus has always been to get black characters, people that look like me, and get those in my collection. I wanted to have the largest collection of black superheroes and black characters in comic books, and went from there to wanting to know more about the writers and the artists and the different creators that look like me. So that is where we are with what I do, what I collect. I collect a little bit of everything. If I think it's a dope comic book, I think it's a good story, I'm an avid reader, so I collect that. So that's how I started this whole process. But I'm gonna get into the questions real quick and try to run through it so this video isn't super long. I know you guys hate to be and captured into a video for longer than 20 minutes. So hopefully stick with me for 20 minutes and let's see what we put down. Alright, so the first question is from my friend Mika, and she asked me what interested me in comic books. What interested me was my Aunt Tammy. She had this collection of Archie and Jughead comic books from back in the day when I was like I say 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, and she let me read one. I loved it. I can envision myself at the high school, even though I was a black kid reading about, white kids. And I don't even remember if there was ever, it was Josie and the Pussycats. They had an appearance in Archie comic books, but there was a black chick in that. And she instantly became, the object of my affection. But I kind of envisioned myself in that comic book, and I watched how Archie, used to have to deal with Moose the bully and dealing with his affections for Betty and Veronica and stuff like that, and it just kind of expanded. I picked up a Phantom comic book. I'm not sure if she gave it to me or I found it somewhere else, but I started growing from there. And then my mother, Deborah, my dad used to always take me to bookstores and used to have me reading these autobiographies and these books about history and stuff. And she used to always give me a couple of dollars and let me buy what I want. So thank you, my Deborah. I love you. But yeah, we used to go to this bookstore on US 1 in Titusville, and I go in there and I get a couple of books. And then once I got to be a little bit older, and when I got to middle school, me and my homeboy Dale Washington, shout out to Dale, we used to walk to school together. And we used to hit the little Tentacle gas station, and they had the little comic books on the round. So I used to get Peter Parker comic books and every day I was picking up like Alpha Flight, X-Men, something, and I just had to have something. I go to school and I read them. I come back home, get a couple more, and be at home reading them all night. But so yeah, I was completely infatuated at that point. So that's how, I got interested in comic books. All right, next question is, who is my favorite villain or my favorite hero? Favorite villain, I really never had a favorite villain, so to speak. I used to like watching Doctor Doom because, he had a little cowl on and he was a jerk, but he was so powerful, and used to watch how he used to take on the entire Fantastic Four. And then I loved how, Peter Parker used to stand his own with him. I like Namor. I like Namor because I hate Namor. I love the water, I love to swim, but I hate Namor because of, his battles with Black Panther. So I put him on that list. Apocalypse, the Egyptian villain, so I like Apocalypse from the X-Men. I've never seen like a really big event, including Apocalypse, but I just like how he looked and the fact that he's an Egyptian dude. My favorite hero will probably be Misty Knight, of course. She's number one on my list. I absolutely am infatuated with her. Monica Rambeau, love her. As far as the dudes, Black Panther, of course. Spider-Man, Miles, and Peter Parker, both of them are among my favorites. Brother Voodoo is probably my number one favorite. Other than Black Panther, I think he's probably the most prolific one to me because, I feel like he hasn't had his just due yet as far as comic books go, and I know he has super powers, and they really haven't given him, that platform. So hopefully soon we'll see Brother Voodoo in the MCU. All right, so my friend Chantel asks, arts in comics doesn't equal pretty pictures, it equals storytelling. Basically, she wants me to explain this train of thought, and that's basically where you could have a good story or a decent story, but the artwork, it may not necessarily be pretty, it may not be traditional or something like that, but the artwork has to tell a story. So whatever you're reading, most of the time when you read something, your mind imagines the picture, envisions the picture. But with comic books, you're reading something, but you actually have a picture to go along with it. They kind of curve and shape your mind. So I think that's one of the things that that makes, great storytelling in comics. So I think that answers the question. All right, Chantel also asks, what is my criteria for a good story or a bad comic, or a good comic or a bad comic? And basically a bad comic is a book that you read and you get nothing from it. You read it and the artwork isn't that great, or you read it and you're like saying, okay, what was the point? Or it doesn't have a good conclusion to it. Those are things that if it doesn't help you escape, it doesn't take you to somewhere and put you in it and have you like on the edge of your seat, then it's a bad comic book. For me, what's good comics is a marriage between the artwork and the writing. And when you read it, you can't wait to read the next one, and go on to the next one. And then when you get to the finality of the series, you're like, damn, I can't wait for the next series. That's what to me makes a good comic book. So I have a lot of books that are like that, where I'm anxiously waiting for the next one. So Merca Andolpha, if you're watching this video, I'm gonna tag you in it. When we gonna get another Unnatural? So anyway. All right, next question is, what is my unique perspective on comic books? I don't know. I don't know what's my perspective on it. I collect black comic books. I collect comics from people that look like me. I love all comic books, so I not only collect comic books with people that look like me, I collect other things that look interesting. I don't know. Watch my videos, check me out, and you guys tell me, what do you think my unique perspective is? Chantel, since you asked that question, I'm going to quiz you when I talk to you. All right, next question is, what is the moment that I fell in love with comic books, when I knew, about comic books? I think that was day one. The first day when I was able to read and escape, and it wasn't like a book where I'm like, you know, having to read a long story where I was getting that immediate satisfaction visually and through the words. I think that's the moment. So those Jughead Archie comic books that I used to read with my Aunt Tammy, that's where pretty much where I fell in love. From there, I would say, you know, reading Peter Parker comic books and you know, watching him in his daily struggles and his smart alecky ways when he was fighting villains. You know, I fell in love with that. So I think that's where it all kicked off at. So all right, next question is, what is my favorite comic book series? Right now, I would have to say my favorite comic book series is probably Image Comics' Bitter Root, also Philadelphia by Rodney Barnes, and I would say Crescent City Monsters by Dream Fury Comics by Newton Leavoy and Giancarlo Burnell. To me, this is the perfect comic book because it's perfect because I absolutely love the artwork. I love the writing. It's that marriage that I was speaking of. It's just perfection when it comes to creating a comic book. I love it to death, and that's probably, you know, my favorite series. If you had to make me pick just one, it would be Crescent City Monsters. But I would need all of them. I would need the finale because, like, right now it's on issue 4. I would need all the way to the end, you know. If I was going to have to be on an island with just one comic book, that would be it. All right, next question is, what series would I actually live in? What comic book series would I live in? And I would say anything that is opposite of Misty Knight. I would have to be probably the Falcon. I'd have to be, you know, that, and that also comes to the next question is, what character would I be? I'd have to be Falcon because that they dated, they were, you know, love interests for a while, and I just want to be on the opposite side of Misty Knight. So, you know, and have some kind of superpowers and fight crime and stuff like that together. So that's definitely the series that I will live in. Anything with Misty Knight. And I think, just speaking on it, powers that be, hey, give me a shot at writing it. But I think Misty Knight deserves her own comic book series. Everybody else got one, so, you know, why not her? All right, next question is, what's the first comic book? I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't tell you what the first comic book was. First comic book was some artist scribbling on a piece of paper and then scribbling on another one and then another one and then putting it out and saying, here you go. I don't know. So that's funny, but I would say, like, what's the first comic book? I don't know what the first comic book is, but I'll put this one out there. All Negro Comics was a comic book created in 1947 by Orrin C. Evans. Some of the characters in it was Ace Harlem and Lion Man. This particular book is I think it's very difficult to find. It's definitely difficult to find in good condition, but it's from 1947. So I know that Superman came out. I'm not sure when Superman came out. I'm thinking that his book actually came out in the 30s or something like that. Not sure, but you know, I just wanted to put that information out about All Negro Comics. If you come across one, you see it or whatever, you know me, holler at me. I would like it. So I don't have it in my collection, but I would love it. All right, next question is, what is the best-selling black comic book? I don't know. That's another question that's difficult because they don't track those particular type stats as far as across the board. But I can say, as far as the best-selling comic book or the most expensive comic book with a black character, if you wanted to, you know, isolate it in that area, would be Fantastic Four number 52. That is the first appearance of Black Panther. That is probably the most expensive comic book that I know. It's coming in at $90,000. It falls just short out of the top 100 of most expensive comics. I'm not sure. I think it's like 107 or something like that. But, you know, that's the most expensive one that I know of, and that is the number one book that I would like to acquire on my list. So if you got one laying around the house, just holler at your boy. Just, you know, go ahead and package it up in some really good packaging. Keep it really safe. In fact, don't even do that. Put it aside. Send me your address. I'll come pick it up. For real. Serious. No cap. All right. So next question is, name some female heroes. I would say, as far as female heroes, Misty Knight, of course, is always number one on my list. Everybody knows about Storm from X-Men. You also know about, now you know about Spectrum. Some of you may know because if you're watching the movies or whatever, but Spectrum, Vixen from DC Comics. She's an African. I guess she's African. I'm not sure. She got her powers in Africa or something like that, but I'm not sure. I have her books, but I haven't read them all, so can't remember. Rocket from Icon from the Milestone Comics. She's the sidekick to Icon, but Rocket Raquel. So yeah, she's a great superhero. You also have Blink from Bitterroot. She's dope. Riri Williams, Ironheart. She's really dope. Okoye, the general of the Dora Milaje, the general of the Wakandan Special Army, the Lady Army, the female warriors. Yeah, the entire Dora Milaje. So I don't know. There's a lot of black superhero characters out there. That's just to name a few. So if you want to know more information, hit me up in the comments. I can't say that I can make a super extensive list, but if there's something that you heard about, you want to know about, hit me up. All right, so next question. My friend Alexis says, where would I begin in the plethora of comics? So if she was to start collecting comic books today, where would she begin? That really depends on what you like. So if you're buying to collect, or if you're buying just to read, or whatever the case may be. So I would say start with an independent if you're buying just to read, and that's like something like Boom Studios or Image Comics. They're not Marvel and DC, so I guess they're still considered independents, I guess. But yeah, Bitterroot, Philadelphia. You could go back. You could read Kick-Ass, the New Girl, anything like that. Those would be definitely good pickups. As far as mainstream titles, always you can never go wrong with picking up Miles Morales. Miles Morales is probably the hottest character in comics right now. It's going to be difficult to get that Ultimate Fallout #4, his first appearance, because it is so expensive. But there's a lot of other books out there that are, in a good price range that you can acquire. And the runs aren't that deep. They're a little bit more lengthier. So if you want something where it's a shorter run, I would say Crescent City Monsters. Right now they're on the 4th issue. You would have to go through Dream Fury Comics to order it, to get it in your possession. Day Black is another really dope comic book. I saw a preview for it. I'm about to order. It's by Keith Cross, but I'm gonna order the actual book because there was a preview that came out with a Kickstarter for this Crescent City Monsters #4. That's a great story too. The artwork is abstract, but it's really, really dope. I think you'd love it. All right, so Alexis also asked, what do I prefer, print or digital? I'm print all day. It's nothing like being able to pick up a book here and there, put your hands on it. I have a Kindle that I bought probably like 10 years ago, and I've loaded it up with a bunch of books, and it's up on my bookshelf, and it probably doesn't even work anymore because I don't even use it. I used to use it to go on the internet when I was in different places, but yeah, I'm a print guy all day. As fact, when I finish this video, probably gonna go and peruse and look for more books, but I need to be organized in my area, so I don't know. All right, so next question is, how extensive is my collection? And I don't know. I mean, what you mean? You mean like how many comic books I have, or how extensive as far as the value goes? As far as overall value, I couldn't tell you. Some of my more expensive books is like this Invincible Iron Man #1. This is Riri Williams here and Ariel Johnson here. Ariel is the owner of the first comic book owned by a black female in the nation. It's Amalgam Comics in Philadelphia. I think it's in the nation. They tout it as the East Coast, but I think it's in the nation. Not sure. But yeah, I picked this up from that particular shop. The last time I saw on eBay, somebody was asking for about $3,500 for this particular book. I've never seen anyone else with it. When I purchased this one, there was 4 on the shelf. I should have got the other 3. They were definitely affordable. I never knew that it was going to get to a point where it was this rare. I don't know anybody else who has this book, and most of my comic book friends and my groups, they don't know anybody else who has this book. So this is definitely one of the prize points of my collection. Let's see. Also, I got my Adam, Legend of Blue Marvel, #1. My wife purchased this for me from Tampa Bay Comic Con a couple years ago, and she bought it for $100, and I think I looked it up when I got home that it was worth $1,000. I'm not sure what it's worth today. You have to get them slabbed and get them CGC rated to get the maximum value from them. So yeah, so those are among, my more expensive books in my collection. But I got a lot of first appearances of black characters, a lot of rare variant covers, stuff like that. So I don't know. You got to watch my videos. If you watch my videos and you see my what's in my bag segment, then you'll see what I'm picking up on a weekly basis, and then you'll be able to say, okay, he got this. That's dope. So all right, so the next question is, what are my top 3 missing books from my collection? And the #1 book that's missing from my collection is that Fantastic Four #52. Like I said, a high graded copy, a 9.8 is going to be about $90,000. So either I'm going to have to find somebody who has a collection who doesn't know or whatever, and some rare collection, some obscure. It's going to have to drop out the sky. Either that, or I'm going to have to win the lottery, or our business is going to have to boom. So for me to get that book. Next book is my Strange Tales #169. That is first appearance of Brother Voodoo, and that is definitely on my wish list, and hopefully I'm going to acquire that one soon. I'm trying to look for a raw copy of it, a raw copy that's in really good condition, so I can get a high grade on it. But yeah, that one, and then the Tomb of Dracula #10, and that is the first appearance of Blade. Blade is also one of my favorite characters, so hopefully I'll be able to acquire at least 2 out of the 3 books that are on my missing list. I got a lot more. It's you can check out the video below that's my most wanted top 10 books, and I can tell you a little bit more about what I'm looking for. So yeah, those are the things that are missing from my collection. Alright, so last question is, what attracts me to a book? What pretty much attracts me to a book is, like, if I know about it, if I know about the character, those are big bonuses. So when I see certain characters, I say, okay, I definitely want to get that book. I want to check that out. If it's something that I don't have a clue about, I don't know anything about, then I look for covers. I look for the cover, and if I see a black character or a really dope cover that looks interesting, then that's when I'll pick that particular book up. Sometimes I pick up stuff simply because of the covers. It doesn't have anything to do with the book. I try to read whatever I buy, but sometimes I just go into admiration of the actual cover. Like this in Immortal Hulk. This Immortal Hulk #41. I think this cover is absolute art. So I picked this one up, and I really never had any intention on reading it. But I know that I don't think this particular scene has anything to do with what's on the inside of the book. So eventually I'll get around to reading it, but yeah, that's something I picked up simply because of the cover. Some other dope covers that's in my collection is, this is the Black Panther Agents of Wakanda #1, the 1 in 10 Battle Lines variant by Yoon Lee. I got notes on the back, that's why I turned it like that. But yeah, so I picked that one up. This cover of Okoye. And a recent pickup I just picked up was this Savage She-Hulk #22. And I picked this one up because this is the homage cover for the first She-Hulk comic book, her first appearance, Jennifer Walters. And it's the zombie one, just the zombie variant. So I was eyeballing in Emerald City comic books, like, damn, that's a really dope cover. And I just went ahead and picked it up. So yeah, but I like all kind of stuff. So there's 1,000 different covers that I absolutely love, that I'm intrigued by. So that's what attracts me to a comic book. Alright, so I appreciate you guys taking your moment out to getting to know Jay with Evolutionary Comics. I hope I didn't keep you too long. Hope you found enough information here that makes you want to like this video. Definitely subscribe. definitely hit that notification bell so you can get notifications whenever I put out a new video. Hopefully I'm not going to make them too long. Hopefully it holds your attention long enough. Please definitely hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about comic books in general. Ask questions. I'm here for you. We want to continue to evolve. And it's your man Jay. And this is Evolutionary Comics, baby. Holla at your boy.